Hello, so today I wanted to go over a concept that I previously introduced in another video, which is playing for placements and trying to salvage a game. So in the past, I kind of talked about this a little bit on my channel. If you like my content, make sure to like and subscribe. I usually do daily TFT guides, and there's lots of stuff that I talk about. I also sometimes do some VOD reviews, which I'm doing a lot this week just because I'm spending a lot of time playing TFT, trying to rank up just so I get like that peak rank, and then I can just stop playing the set. So like, I'm trying to juggle that with some other things like after art convention, just selling some leftover art and things like that. So just working on those things and then trying to still keep the daily streaks. So some of them are a little bit VOD content, which is a lot easier for me to do, but also still very informative. So today is going to be a VOD review talking about playing for placements and kind of reiterating with some gameplay how to kind of salvage a game. I think this was also a comment I got on one of my VOD reviews, which was like, I forget which one, I think it was on the Urgot game, saying, hey, like, maybe I can make a VOD review on a game where you just play for placements and salvage the game the best that you can. So that's what I'm going to talk about here. Before I do that, I'm just going to intro the idea a little bit. So obviously in TFT, there's ways of playing around high cap boards and trying to win the game, right? If I just look here, this is a stat website, Tools. I'm just showing you like a couple comps that are performing particularly well on this patch in Diamond Plus and maybe like, a Masters Plus. So I'll put Masters Plus, right? And you'll see there's some comps that are really strong. A lot of times the strong comps are conditional. They usually have certain augments or certain spots that make them a lot better. And other times, they're just like reliable comps, right? One of the comps I said that was really reliable this patch, at least to me, was Anima Squad. I recommended this on my climbing on the current patch guide when I did the patch note reviews. But there's other comps, that are really situational. Obviously, if you have a good reroll spot, Bastion Morgana, like these niche cyber boss lines usually are augmented with like the cyber boss augments. And then there's things like Amp, right? Amp is something that you can usually play from like full lose streak, just try and pivot on a dime and win out with Samira and Zac duo and just like win the game off of that, of course. But you can always try and angle towards these comp, but a lot of times they have more of a risk. So of course, if you have a spot and you have items for a certain comp, a lot of times there's conditional ones and unconditional ones. And the unconditional ones typically are going to fall in a category of just being, very bland, not very strong. And usually you play those just to accept that you're going to get your top 4 and get out. Just call it a day. A very obvious example, Vanguard Marksman. Vanguard Marksman has a lot of room for play, has a lot of potential to just salvage the game a lot of the times. It's really good with AD items. Other AD comps feel pretty conditional, so if you have AD items and you're looking for an unconditional style comp that you can just play from any spot really, so long as you have good enough items for multiple carries, this is a spot that works really well. It's just 4-4, 4 Vanguard, 4 Marksman, playing around Xayah, Felio's dual carry, and if you can make it to level 9, there is win conditions, right? You can hit all of those win condition 5 costs, where if you hit them early enough, they can just scale you or do an insane amount of work for you into late, think your Garens and your Zacs and stuff like that, or even an Urgot that can give you items. But a lot of times you cap out the board with an Aurora, get Dynamo in, you can replace the Silas then, get a little bit of a better tank, stuff like that. But overall, usually you play this game and you don't usually play Vanguard Marksman your game, you're not necessarily going top 1, top 2, but it is a game where you can salvage a lot of the time and salvage a lot of placements. So I want to talk about it while we do the VOD review, so I kind of introduced the concept and talked about it here. So I'm going to skip this VOD review a little bit, or skip around a little bit. This was actually from today, so I just played this game, so it's fresh in my mind. But this is just to show you how, towards the end of the game, how I'm just trying to try my best to just make sure I get my maximum placement, and kind of the decision making that goes into that point of the game, and why that's something that you might end up playing at or playing towards. So here, we're just going to start with our open. I'm not going to talk too much about the unit holding and all of that. It's usually just holding unit pairs, trying to play around the game. I don't think I have a good syndicate spot, so I'm not going to play keep your friends close. I really hate forcing augments because it's just so easy to get griefed. So here, it's probably going to be some level of econ augment. I'm just on stream. The reason I didn't roll syndicate is because I'm explaining on stream that I don't have a good syndicate spot. But either way, it's probably going to be either Patient Study or Epoch, depending. I like Epoch a little bit more, or it could be Replication. Replication's good because items are just really hard to come by right now. So if I just find a good tank item or a good backline item, I'm pretty fine. So here I take Belt because basically that's going to give me a Warmogs and a Sunfire, so I can slam 2 items off of it, and I have a Gwinsu, so I can slam all my components and I can be relatively strong early in the game and try and tempo. However, if I'm committing with a Guinsoo isn't really that common on super high cap comps. Maybe you can play like, you know, Senna reroll that sometimes can like win the game pretty convincingly if you have Senna 3, Jarvan 3. But a lot of times if you're slamming Guinsoo early, you're either playing Vanguard Marksman because you're playing around Aphelios. You could try and play Golden Ox if you have a good spot for Golden Ox. If you hit a Viego early or hit a Golden Ox +1, then you can play 6 Golden Ox and that has a win potential. But a lot of times you're playing around Aphelios, Vanguard Marksman. If you have good Exotech items, which I suggest you always check your Exotech items, like Pulse Stabilizer and a good Sejuani item, then you can maybe play around Zeri with a Guinsoo, but typically you're doing something like that, or you're playing some niche reroll, which I don't think I have the most insane spot for the reroll here. So I'm just going to play this opener out. I'm going to skip a little bit on stage 2, because we did the whole intro talking about salvaging the game. I just want to get to the point where the game otherwise might look really awful, and kind of talk about the decision making there and how we kind of just try and salvage this game. So everything's really run of the mill, right? Take a glove off carousel. We're playing Vanguard in the front line. I have this Bane in the back line because I'm just playing Anima Squad early. We're going to pivot off of it, and eventually this game's going to end up being a Vanguard Marksman style of board. There's somebody with an Anima emblem already, so we know Anima Squad is going to be played for sure. And they have a good chance of capping out really high because they have Strategist emblem and Anima emblem on the Wandering Trainer. It just like seems really good, especially if they hit like their Aurora 2, Yumi's, etc. If we look at the rest of this game, there is some other crazy stuff that is going on, because I think there's going to be a strategist amp player, right? So if you look at this guy, for example, he looks like he's gearing towards amp, which is one of those high cap comps, and usually you just play it from lose streak and you try and like get a bunch of gold and then play towards it. But in this lobby already, we're looking at this, unless we have some like giga spot from the augments, we're not necessarily going to be chasing that first, is what I would say. We'll see how it goes. Obviously we'll see how it goes, but you know, a lot of it comes down to like this part right here. So we look at our prismatics, right? We have one person rerolling. We have the Anima Squad player that's going to be really hard to outcap late game. So we're going to look here. Piercing Lotus really strong. Fits really nicely with my items because I decided to slam the new guard breaker. I forget what it's called, Striker's Flail or whatever. So Piercing Lotus really strong. We have good AD items. We have full tank items as well. So we're set up to basically play pretty much anything, but we're leaning towards AD here, of course. But let's go to like later in the game. So as you can see, there's at least one Stratamp player. There's this guy who's playing Golden Ox Graves, and he looks like he's gonna outcap because this Graves reroll comp, if you hit, you just win. It's crazy. It's insanely strong, but it's really hard to hit a lot of the times. And if you don't hit, the comp is extremely weak until you hit. So it's actually extremely risky even as a reroll comp. So, you know, if you like it, go for it. I've tried it a lot, and I've paid my due of LP loss trying to try it out, so I'm not going to change my opinion on it. I really don't want to play that comp ever unless I have, like, you know, lots of Graves from the start of the game. But either way, their spot looks really good. They have worth the wait Alistar, so a lot of their early game being not too strong is actually really strong. They have full win streak, so they can actually just use all their Golden Ox procs and get that board ramped up to an insane level. So we already have a couple people that I'm identifying. There's a Stratamp player. That's a really high cap comp. If they hit the Samira early, they win. If they don't, whatever. We have this Golden Ox player who's going to be extremely strong and probably going to like get to a point where this Graves is one-tapping everybody, so that's really scary as well. So that's already two people. So if I'm trying to think here, right now, at this point in the game, I'm looking at my spot. I don't have anything that's game-breaking or insanely strong. I have a very standard board that can be extremely strong later in the game. But you can even see I'm talking to my chat, right? Like the same way I'm VOD reviewing here. I'll pause for a second. I'm going through all the people's boards. I'm explaining to chat while I'm live, saying, hey, this person looks like they can outcap me late game, and I probably am going to lose. This person's probably going to beat me late game, and I'm probably going to lose. I need to be ready for the fact that long-term, I'm not going to get like a first, right? This is probably not a game where I can play for a first. So I'm playing for, at best, second. That guy, it's 3-5. He just hit Vigor 3. So now we have another, you know, enter player 3 into the mix. We have a guy that's 100% win streaking the whole game, and he just hit a 3-star on 3-5. So now we have that guy to worry about as well. We're finding ourselves in a little bit of a predicament here. You know, I already identified two players that are probably going 1-2 or close to that, and now there's a third player that just threw their hat into the mix. we're playing for like a third or a fourth here. Now, obviously, you know, you can always play for your maximum placement, but we already know this game is going to be hard, right? There's no doubt in my mind. There's no like little like, oh, you know, is this going to be an easy game, or are we just going to top 4? No, this is gonna be a stressful game. Look, this Vanguard bank, he's gonna rail me. I'm gonna get defeated here for sure. I'm losing this round, right? Do you guys think I'm winning this round? I might win this round because like Vi's pretty broken. But like, I'm just saying, right? We're already at a point where like, you know, I started the game off. I have decent augments, I have decent items, but we can't really go for a high cap comp is what I'm trying to say. It's gonna be very risky for me to say, okay, I'm gonna play Strat Amp here, or I'm gonna play you know, Golden Ox here, or I'm gonna play any of these comps that require you to be really strong or really far ahead to have an insane win out. As I'm saying this, I high roll a little bit, right? So enter my player into the mix of me top 4ing. I just hit an Aphelios on stage 3-6, which is really good. But the idea is that I'm probably just gonna end up playing something like Vanguard Marksman here. This is usually where you look at your board and you say, yeah, it's just a Vanguard Marksman game. Because Vanguard Marksman, it's really consistent. It's really consistent at getting a top 4. It's really consistent at just being strong and converting that into a win, because the board is complete on level 8. So there's not much of an incentive, unless you're trying to giga cap and win the game, to go level 9. And I'll show that in this video as we show my decision making on stage 4. So as you can see, I'm committed to the idea. I'm putting it in my team planner. That's me on stream saying, it's official. It's a Vanguard Marksman game. Clap it, let's clock in, and let's try and get our max placement. So here I beat the Graves player. That's fine, he still hasn't hit yet. That's expected. We're gonna win here. We have good combat, we have good power, we're gonna be relatively stable. So let's just take the safe option, because there are a lot of people in this lobby that look like they're gonna be absolute demons later in the game. So we get the Aphelios in. We're gonna try and build up towards this Vanguard Marksman board. If you look, there's an Anima Squad player, so that's one player that's going to be playing around Leona, and there's also another player that looks like they're going to be playing around Marksman as well. So it's going to be a really hard game to get Leona specifically. So we're going to have a very hard time fully hitting the board. We don't expect to hit everything on our roll down. We're not particularly insanely rich, so we can't necessarily just hit everything. So this is going to be a game where it's going to be like, okay, let's try and roll early, try and hit copies of the units that we want. So here, I'm just going to level to 7. I'm not particularly rich, like I said, so I can't 4-1 this. I can't roll to 0 this turn and try and find Aphelios, Leona, and Xayah to fix my board up. So we're just going to sit and hope for the best. I'm going to reforge this item, see if I can make another item for a backline damage, because I don't really need another tier. I already made 1 Protector's Vow. And we have what is it called? Striker's Flail, the new Guard Breaker. But if we look at this board, Anima's player already has a Xayah. We're going to have to see who hits the Leonas on the roll down, me or this guy. Right? If this guy hits the Leona, he's going to be in a really good spot. If I hit the Leonas, I'm going to be in a really good spot. But anyways, you'll see what happens this game. And basically, it's going to come down to this. Like, I think I lose this round. No, I win this round. That's good for me. But this guy's really scary, especially if it's an Aurora. So we're going to pre-level a little bit. We're going to get to level 8. I'm going to roll down. So climb the ladder, inspire Epitaph, salvage bin, that's fine. Epitaph is probably fine here. I like the stacking attack speed. Works well with the Vanguard Marksman board as well. So let's roll to 0. We know that we're contested, so we're trying to make our decisions fast and roll for our units. We found the Xayah, 0 Leonas, but that's fine, because we don't even have Xayah 2 anyways. We're Aphelios pair, so we're just going to roll here. It's a little bit of an overroll, but like I said, we're not necessarily committed to the idea of like going 9 or stabilizing. This board's complete on level 8, so you just want to roll, find as many copies of the units, find your upgrades. There, we rolled deep. We found Aphelios. It's not likely you're going to find Aphelios 2, especially contested, but we're also looking for 1 copy of Leona. So I'm Aphelios pair, rolling for Jinx upgrade, Aphelios upgrade, and I'm rolling for 1 copy of Leona. So I'm rolling for a lot, so we just go straight to 0. We roll all the way down, and we hit our Aphelios 2. This guy, you know, enter player 4, he has a Zac. He has a Zac on stage. What is this, 4-2? So that's a scaling Zac that we have to worry about now. So that's gonna suck. So guess what? We might, like, this is another player that has a potential for win conditions. So already here in this game, I don't have any copies of Leona. My front line isn't stable. My front line is a Vi right now. I didn't even hit Jarvan upgrade. So it's really good. Like, you can look at this spot and you can say, you have a Aphelios too. That's an insane spot, right? I don't have Leona. I don't have Jarvan 2. I don't have anything, right? And there's a guy rerolling that's holding a bunch of Jarvans. I don't think I can get a first here. I think I can get at most a second. So what am I going to do right now? You can see I'm scouting, right? I'm counting. This guy has Xayah 2, and he's stable. He has an Aphelios and a Xayah 2. The other guy has units. The other guy has Leonas. I'm scouting here, and I'm looking at my peers. I'm looking at the lobby, and I'm saying to myself, we're probably not going top 4. Or we're probably going top 4 because we have a good spot, but we're probably not winning the game. So all I need to do is get a second here, and we're happy, right? We're happy with a second, right? I think we can all agree. I have 0 Leonas. I have 1 Jarvan. I have Vi as my main tank. I have 1 Xayah, but I have a Aphelios too. So I hit something. You gotta hit something. I hit something, right? So it's not a complete sham of a game. We're just gonna play for placements here, right? This is what I mean by, like, don't overgreed a lot of the time. This can help you a lot in your games. Now, obviously, you know, if a random encounter comes and screws me over, I can get screwed over very easily here. But my decision making now is that I want to play for placements as much as possible. So what does that mean? I'm not going to greed my gold. I'm not going to care too much about interest. I'm not going to try and high cap my board and make it to like level 9 or do something crazy with that. My augments are good. I have strong combat. You can argue that I can play for a first here, but because I don't have any copies of Leona, I know that my front line's not going to be that stable, especially when other people hit. And also, it's contested by a lot of people, right? There's at least 3 other Leona. There's 2 other people playing Leona, so there's 3 Leonas. Carousel, Leona, I'm not getting that. I have IHP. So, it's not going to happen. So, I can greed here, right? If you want to play for a first, the correct decision is maximize your econ and go level 9. Try and hit that level 9. Try and hit that max cap and win the game, right? You go level 9. You go 9 as fast as possible. You hit one of the 5 costs that's really strong. Upgrade those 5 costs. Giga cap your board and win out. I don't think I can reasonably do that because of 2 reasons. 1, I don't have a fucking Leona. Like, pardon the French. And number 2, there's already other people that have insane win conditions. Look, there's somebody above me that's 100 streaking, right? Anyways, I found 1 Leona. But anyways, what am I doing here, right? You're looking around and you're like, why is he rolling so deep? You found the Leona. What are you rolling for? Well, number 1, I'm Xayah paired. Number 2, I'm rolling for this little fun guy right over here. Now's where all the rolling addicts come into play. It's your time to shine. Golden Ox. What am I doing? I know that I'm not going to be able to go level 9 anytime soon. So every single turn that I have enough gold to roll for Golden Ox, I'm going to roll for Golden Ox. Because what is that going to do? It's going to give this guy some damage amp. He already has an insane build, right? I have good items here. I have Piercing Lotus, which gives him crit. So I have crit, I have damage amp, and I have the Golden Ox is going to scale me really well into these into late game. So what am I going to do? I'm going to make sure that I don't throw a single one of these rounds. I'm going to keep my HP lead. Look right now. I have 30 HP on the rest of the lobby. I have the option of using this HP to go level 9, by which I'm sacrificing my health in order to try and cap my board a little bit higher. Or what I can do is I can spend my gold as the resource, right? I either sacrifice the HP or I sacrifice my gold. Here I'm sacrificing my gold. I'm going to roll for Golden Ox every turn that I can. If this number means that I can hit a Golden Ox interval, I'm just going to take it. This is what you do with Vanguard Marksmans when you know that you're fucked. When you know that things are not particularly going that great and you need to just play for placements. Because what you're doing is you're saying to yourself, I'm going to make sure that I win every single round on this stage, and as long as possible, I keep winning these rounds. Additionally, maybe I high roll and I find the Xayah and then I hit Xayah 2. That's good. I'm still rolling for something. Right? If I had nothing to roll for, like if I had Leona 2, Xayah 2, everybody upgraded, then of course, right? You don't have to roll for anything. It's fine. But I'm justifying my use of gold here because getting the damage amp from the Golden Ox is very substantial. It's very substantial in making sure that you just get the maximum placement that you can here. It's saying to yourself, I'm not going for first, because if you want to go for first, you need to greed your econ as much as possible. What I'm saying is, I will be happy with a second here, or even a third, but I am going to be as strong as possible, keep this HP buffer. This guy here, you know, let him win the game. He can kill this guy, he can kill this guy, he can kill this guy, but you know he's not gonna kill? He's not gonna kill me, because I'm gonna make sure that I have enough HP to survive this. We haven't even talked about those other players, right? There's the Anima Squad player that's lurking around that might just win the game. There is the Golden Ox player that might win the game as well. There are so many people in this lobby that have win conditions. My only win condition right now is to somehow make it to 9, miraculously teleport to Leona 2 somehow, and then also find one of the scaling 5 costs to outcap with this board that typically doesn't outcap anybody. Yeah, right. You know what I'm gonna do? As soon as I have 14 gold, I'm gonna roll for Golden Ox, and we're just gonna call it a day. This is fries in the bag. This is the type of gameplay you do when you know that the game has no hope. There's no hope. There's no hope. It's over, right? Look at this guy's board. Look at his board. Look, I do a quick little scout here, right? It's like, oh, let's see how everybody else is doing. All right. Anima, he has Leona 2, Zaya 2, Anima Emblem, and a Renekton already. And guess what? Yeah, you know what else? He also has an Aurora. I'm not beating this board. We're not winning here. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, who else? Oh, wow. So this guy has Marksman Emblem, Senna 3, Graves 3, Alistar 3, soon to be Alistar 4. We're not beating that guy, right? Because in order to be first, in order to get a first, you have to be the strongest in the lobby. Even if I make it to level 9 right now, and I get a Zac 2, unless my Zac 2 miraculously scales infinite with the Bloblets, I'm not beating this guy either, right? Like, my highest cap board is not going to outcap these people. I don't even have Leona 2 yet. So let's see another board. Alright. What's that? Strat Amp player? He doesn't have Samira though. This guy we can beat. He doesn't have Samira yet. He's only 4 amp. So this guy's not scary. But he could be if he hits Samira. So as soon as so basically what's the strategy right now? As soon as I have 14 gold, I'm rolling, right? The gold counts twice if you're using rerolls. I'm rolling every turn. Because I don't want this to be a damage amp diff. Right? I don't want it to be Golden Ox diff. You didn't roll enough. Right? Anyways, I beat this guy miraculously. Because his Graves just died. I think he just doesn't have enough combat. His Graves just dies too soon. And this Alistar has no items. So this guy's just in item poverty, right? If he had like a bunch of extra items for his board, I think he would have been fine. But he just doesn't have tank items or like good items for everybody. So it's fine. But either way, what I'm saying is like if he gets his Golden Ox pumping, eventually he will outcap, right? Because if he gets like 50, 60 Golden Ox stacks, he's going to be stronger than everybody. Oh, there's also that guy that had Zac on stage 4. How's that person doing? Anyways. What we want to do is we just don't want to lose a single round that we don't have to lose. This guy. Well, I don't even know if I beat that guy. But either way, what we're going to do is we're going to play this HP lead. Right? Because there's no point in squandering HP for no reason. We're going to keep rolling for Golden Ox to make sure that we're as strong as humanly possible in each of these rounds. That's my advice. Like if I was looking at somebody else's gameplay, this is like obviously this is the unfun way to play. You might look at me and you might say, Fenrir, you're the biggest wuss I've ever seen. You had a Philios 2 and you're winning anyways. You should just greed and go 9. I'm like, nah, I'm pretty sure I don't outcap those players no matter what. Their spots look insane. So I can play with the idea of maybe they don't hit and then I outcap them. But I'm just going to roll. I'm just going to roll here, right? I have a Zaya pair. I have this unit pair. I had 14 gold. Goodbye 14 gold. I'm going to make sure I get that Golden Ox proc. Because if that damage amp is enough to make me win this next round, that's fine. I'll take a second. As long as I have 30 HP on the next closest person, there is no way I go less than second here. That's good. I'll take a second. I'm okay with a second. This guy doesn't have Samira, so we might beat him, which is actually pretty cool. Because this was one of the players that I thought was going to outcap me. Right? If he has Samira, I'm pretty sure we lose this fight. But he doesn't have Samira, so I think we win this fight. See, like if he had Samira, this anti-Tibbers would have been a little bit stronger, and the other unit would have been a little bit stronger. So we actually win this just barely. It's pretty cool. But anyways, yeah. This guy, at one point, like if he gets his Golden Ox up to like 50, I think he beats me. But he might die before then. But there's still the anima player that I think is going to be so incredibly hard to beat, so to speak. Golden Ox emblem, I'm not getting that, but that's fine. Here, I could take a better Xayah item maybe, but something that's really important to note is if you look at the damage of all the units, a lot of times, especially in these short fights, Jinx actually does a good chunk of damage. And so does Jhin, right? They can actually pump out quite a bit. So, especially with like augments like these where you have a lot of combat. So I'm actually going to work on some Jinx items here because like my frontline is a joke anyways, right? Like I'm not going to get 3 frontline items here. So I'm actually just going to start itemizing towards like a tertiary backline unit to try and do some damage. This guy is extremely strong, but you know what he doesn't have? Golden Ox stacks. Watch this next fight coming up. This guy's just insane now. He has 6 Golden Ox. Check this out. Ready? Oh, I'm trying to like bait out the players. I'm switching sides back and forth. Alright, Golden Ox player. I beat this guy in the past. I think I beat him again because I just don't think he has enough front line to sustain himself. Like this comp really wants to have Jarvan 3. And I think he's also like 1 turn off of Alistar 4. So if I beat him here, that would be pretty massive. But you know, I think that's fine. This guy was trying to play for max cap. And I think I just scam because my Xayah has the Edge of Night. So I'm doing some Edge of Night tech. I beat this guy. That's fine. Are we still going to go? Remember what I said before? I think that I'll go at most second this game. So we're rolling for Golden Ox again. We're trying to make sure we win every single fight. Just to get that second place. Done. Now, this game, do you see how boring this game is? This is just how some of the games are. If you're trying to be consistent, this is like a tip to be consistent, right? That guy has 91 HP. I don't think I'm beating him, right? Like, I think that Vanguard can easily delete my line, my front line, unless I get some, like, really lucky thing. Now, this is the part where I really want to show you guys the difference, right? Look at this guy's board, right? He doesn't have 3 Aphelios items. That's a huge problem, right? Not having 3 Aphelios items. He also has 3 Xayah items, but not 3 Aphelios items. That's really important. He has Piercing Lotus, Vanguard emblem, which isn't that insane. Like the Wander trainer isn't that useful. He's just playing a Kabuko instead of another Vanguard. Our front lines are pretty much equal, except he doesn't have Jarvan 2 because he's holding on to his gold, right? He's not rolling that deep. He only has 20 Golden Ox charges because he hasn't been rolling every turn like I have. So his Golden Ox is like 3 or 4 damage amp procs below mine, right? Because there's 20, then it's like 24, 28, 32, and I'm 32 out of 32 and he's 0 out of 20. So he's actually tremendously behind on Golden Ox damage amp. So I have 3 items on both my carries. I only have Xayah 1, I don't have Xayah 2, but my front line's a little bit, like, arguably a little bit better. Like, it's hard to say because I have Jarvan 2, he has Leona 1 only. But I have 3 items on both my carries. But our augments are very similar. He also has the Marksman, like, flatline, where they get extra stats and they also execute. Watch this fight. I'm not going to say it's a Golden Ox diff, but I'm playing for placements. I'm pretty sure the Golden Ox makes a difference here. Because that extra damage amp, look how close this is. Look, our front lines both died at the same time. Xayah gets the proc. And then I get the last hit, my Aphelios hits, and I nuke everybody instantly, right? I'm not saying it's a Golden Ox diff. What I'm saying is, if I didn't one-shot all their units there and they got another cast-off, I'm saying it's close. I'm saying it's close. That was a close fight. Now, it didn't look close, but it just came down to who ulted who first, right? And they wasted a little bit of damage because the Xayah had the Edge of Night and they had to retarget. That's why we roll for it, right? Imagine if I wasn't rolling any gold. If I wasn't rolling any gold all of that stage, I'd be greeting to go 9. I wouldn't have any Golden Ox stacks. And I'd have 50 gold. And I'd be doing it for what? I would be rolling for what? I wouldn't have Leona, right? Because I wouldn't be able to roll for a single copy of Leona. I would have still the Vi on my board or some other shit Vanguard. And for what? For me to go 9 to play what? I don't know. Probably nothing. Because it's 4-4. It's Vanguard Marksman. I already committed to a low cap comp at the start of the game because I didn't think my spot was particularly amazing. 36. Golden Ox stack number 2. And we just make Econ because maybe we can get some Golden Ox again. Call it a day. Jinx is usually good with mana, so I'm actually just going to put Adaptive on Jinx. I don't think it's the best item for her, but I just want this Jinx to do some extra little damage here. But here, I'm playing the Vanguard player. I'm pretty sure this guy's going to rail my whole board. This is a mispositioning on my part. You'll see that I'll fix it a little bit later. But with Vanguard, you want to spread out your front line because he hits adjacent units, right? When he hits a unit, he has like an AoE effect when he's cyber bossed up. So you want to like move them a little bit. But anyways, Edge of Night, scam again. That's fine. I'm just winning every fight, right? It's fine. I'm win streaking now. You can argue that I could have gone 9. If I went 9, I hit Aurora too. Does it make a difference? I'm win streaking. 83 HP. This guy's win streaking. Let's see what happens when we fight the other player. This was one of the players I said was probably going to outcap me. It's too late for Zac, so I don't buy the Zac here. Also, sorry, my thing's in the way. Look at this guy's board. Look at his board. Leona 2, Renekton 2, Anima Emblem, Strategist Emblem. Watch this fight. Ready? I'm strong, right? I've been beating everybody. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Ready? Yeah. Yeah, it was really close. You know what? If we were level 9 and we had an Aurora, we're definitely winning that one, right? Fuck no! That's why you don't care. Like, I don't, like, this is what I mean. Like, when you're playing a low cap board, just play the low cap. Right? I don't have Leona 2. This guy has Leona 2 now. Everybody has Leona 2 except me. You know, I've been rolling every single turn for this Leona. It's not without trying that I'm trying to find this Leona. I'm just not hitting it. But that's what happens, right? If things aren't going particularly well, look, we're already top 4. But look, from me just rolling every turn and trying to strengthen my board, upgrading Jinx, upgrading Jhin, upgrading Jarvan, all of that stuff, using all that gold and not greeding has given me, I still have 20 HP lead. Now, am I ever beating this guy? No. Could I have beaten him? Probably not. I'm willing to say no, but there's always a chance. Like, you know, of course, like if I go level 9 and I hit like a Philios 3 or something, of course I'll beat him. But I'm not chasing that because I'm happy with a second, right? And that's what you always have to look at. You have to look at, what am I happy going this game, right? Am I happy with this placement? Look at this guy. This guy hit a unit now. He hit Leona 2. I just lost to him. Remember this guy that we were just talking about? That I was like, I won that other fight and now I don't win anymore? He now beats me. But you know what I have that he doesn't? HP. I have 50 HP more than that guy, or 40 HP. Do the math. You know what I mean? I have so much more HP than that guy. So you know what's happening now? It's over. That guy's not going second. Even though I'm the weaker in the lobby, I knew this was gonna happen. At one point I was gonna fall off. I have enough HP that I know for sure I'm going second this game. Right? There is like almost zero chance I'm not like, maybe I go third with unlucky matchmaking. Here, I could have taken Deathblade for Jinx, by the way. I just like Hodge because I just wanted to have a little bit of healing. But like, nobody's beating that Anima player, right? Nobody's beating the Anima player. Nobody. And anyways, I spread out my front line a little bit so that the Vanguard doesn't like nuke multiple people at the same time. So that's what I'm trying to do. Oh, actually, okay, this was a mistake. Actually. I should spread out my front line. I think I was just trying to get the Sejuani ult this way. I was just trying to get the Sejuani ult on a different unit. I still have Leona 1, by the way. Yeah, I was trying to get the Sejuani to ult in a different area of the board. But I'm pretty sure I lose this fight. Oh, no. Wait, Xayah, clutch. Nah, Xayah doesn't have the clutch gene. This guy's Aurora 2. Oh, look. The other Marksman Vanguard player is dead. Who would have thought? Doesn't matter that he made it to 9. Doesn't have Golden Ox stacks. You're going to lose to the other boards anyways. Right? No offense to that guy. Like, of course. And then now I just hit Leona. We're not going 9 this game because the game's going to be over before we even make it there. We're just going to roll a little bit more. You know what? The more, the merrier. Roll it down to 0. Golden Ox at 44 stacks. As soon as you start to get to like 40 or 50 stacks, your board is actually insanely strong, by the way. Even with this Vanguard Marksman board, it's just usually you want to be on level 9 rolling for Zach Bloblets when you're there. But look, am I beating this guy? Of course I'm not beating this guy. Ready? Ready? Minus 10 HP. Here it comes. And minus 10 HP. Okay, it was minus 20 HP, but you know what I mean. 19 HP. Okay, so now all I need to do is not fight like I could probably beat the Vanguard player, or I can take a narrow loss to the Vanguard player. All I need to do is go second here, and that's the maximum placement. We already secured third, right? We played for our top 4 and we secured third. And the only, like I said, the only reason I'm doing that is I'm already playing a comp that isn't particularly high cap. Chasing the first puts a lot of risk on the table, and I don't personally think that I would have gotten first this game. Think about your best case scenario. I have Zach 2, lots of Bloblets. I'm pretty sure I'm dead before I can even scale that Zach up, because by the time I make it to level 9, I would have lost some of those fights in the mid game probably. I probably would have lost a little bit, because who knows if it's a Golden Ox diff. I didn't take any risks. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to roll again for Golden Ox. Now I'm playing the Vanguard player. I'm straight on my front line. This is what I should have done before. Vanguard does this thing where he hits, and then his Cyber Boss bonus hits adjacent. So I think if you spread them out, I might be wrong. I haven't tested out fully, but I'm pretty sure this is how it works, that these guys won't take the splash damage from the Vanguard. So this actually helps you to just like isolate the damage a little bit. So I spread out the front line like this. And then I'm trying to like move my units a little bit to try and bait the Sejuani this way, just so my Aphelios doesn't get stunned. But I'm fighting clone anyway, so it doesn't matter. This is a clone fight, so usually clones are bugged, so I'm going to win this fight probably. But yeah, wow. And what do you know? We just got a second playing Vanguard Marksman. Now, it's not the flashiest board, it's not the most insane board, but like I said, this is what I was trying to explain when I talk about playing for placements and stuff like that. So a lot of times you have to look at people's boards, you have to see the prospects, and you have to think to yourself, am I actually going to win this game or not? This is how you play really safe, and this is like what I usually do as my play style, right? Of course, if you're somebody who likes to just play for the win every single time, you ensue a lot of risk, and you can totally do that. That's totally valid and fine. And if you do that, I commend you and have fun. But like I said, I looked at that guy's board: Zaya 2, Leona 2, Anima Emblem, Renekton, going level 9. Nah, it's chalked. It's chalked. Chalk it up. I'll take a second every day of the week. Look at this guy's board. He has Zach 2, Renekton 2. He has a Zach 2 on bench. He's pulling in a second Zach 2. He's pulling in Zach Tua. Like, look at this Renekton. It's comedy. It's not even close. Like, it's not even close. And I played strong in my mid game. It's a second. We'll take a second. That's it. Call it a day. Call it a day. Vanguard Marksman. But anyways, that's like the idea that I always want to show. Like, a lot of times people are like, how do you salvage things? That was a game where I had no Leonas on my initial roll down, and I didn't hit Leona 2 for a while. Now, of course, if you play super safe like that, and more people hit their win cons, it can push you out of that top 4. Right? Like, let's say the Amp player hits Samira. The Golden Ox player, like the Graves player hit earlier, right? If these things happened and I wasn't strong enough and I lost a lot of those mid-game fights, I can easily, like, you know, not go second, then I go third, then another person beats me, I go fourth, right? Maybe they outcap the Anima player, so the HP is a little bit more even. It's a really messed up lobby. I go fifth. But the thing is, you have to just make a decision earlier on based on if you think you can win the game or not. Don't just assume you can win the game. Try and actually look at your board and look at other people's boards and assume competency and say to yourself, am I really going to win this game? And if not, you can play the safe route. And that's what I'm kind of showing here. This is a very easy way to play around Vanguard Marksman, for example, because this is a board that is complete on level 8. Going level 9 isn't the most massive power spike unless you hit one of those really deeply scaling units that just gives you a lot of stats, like, you know, like a Garen, where you can like put Golden Ox on Zaya and Anima on Aphelios and like add extra damage that way and stuff like that. Or if you hit like the Zac and you scale up the Zac with the Bloblets. But anyways, hopefully that was fun and enjoyable. I know the game itself was really boring, so I tried to amp it up myself and like be more animated while I spoke. So hopefully that was still enjoyable in some regard to you. And hopefully if you don't do that and maybe you do it and you have success with it, hopefully it was something that can help you out in your own games, because it's something that I do all the time to try and be a little bit more consistent in those ranked climbs a lot of the time. Thanks for watching, have a great day, and see ya. Bye bye.